Hello everyone. I am here with part 2 of the full moon Scorpio lunar eclipse. And as I'm recording this, it is May 12th. The moon is in Libra. And yeah, we're still on this, like what feels to be kind of like this slow crawl or anticipation of this full moon. And, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel very full within my body. And I definitely spoke about this in the previous cosmic climate that I did at the beginning of the week. And I spoke about this Libra moon kind of channeling in the energy of the divine feminine. And really, it could even be a little bit more broad than that, where it's like, some of us are receiving a lot of energy, so to speak. A lot is coming up that we individually and collectively are being guided to process. And a lot of that has actually, I feel, for most people, it's been some kind of element of fear, of shadow, of doubt, of shame, of guilt, all of these really heavy vibrational emotions and frequencies, because that is what is essentially the most dense, and that is what we tend to hold on to, that being some sort of emotional attachment to the trauma, to the pain, to the fear, to the shame, and we will hold that within our bodies. And so within our, and it's definitely entangled within the stories or the thoughts that we have about a certain situation or about ourselves, right? And so with this full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, we have Saturn right there in between the sun and the moon in Aquarius. And so this is a fixed energy here with Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius. And the way Saturn, just what came to mind is like, I feel like Saturn is like the gatekeeper. And Saturn again wants mastery. Saturn wants to make sure lessons are learned. Saturn is the timekeeper as well. So it's almost like this divine timing, dharmic timing, karmic timing. It's just like, there's so many things like I just want to say on the docket, but there's so many things here that need to be addressed and need to be fully purged. And as I'm saying fully purged, of course, it's going to come back up in some way or another, because that is life. However, I feel that it's going to come in a way that is not as confrontational, and that is a little bit more detached from who you are or just that experience within itself. And so it's really interesting. I've been spending this week a lot of my time just like outside. I haven't really been on social media. Like, I've been on social media, but I haven't really felt called to post. Like, the few times that I have posted is when I was like, oh, I have something to say, or I really want to share. And it's interesting because I have this strong desire, and it's been an ongoing desire for some time now, of course, is to just like engage. I want to connect with my community. I want to just really connect, right? But there's some kind of wall there, which, honestly, it could be Saturn, that vibration of just like, there's some kind of barrier there, right? And I've been hesitant in some forms of communicating. And then also, we have Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So there's a tendency to overthink it, or like, focusing in on this experience. And it's just like, just go with the flow, be in the moment. So I've definitely been in both spaces, and myself being in the moment has been really every day. I wake up, I make breakfast for my daughter and I sometimes I work out depending on the day. I mean, it's only been like 4 days, but so I have my workout schedule. And then as soon as I'm completed with that, I go outside somewhere with my daughter and my dog. And that has been amazing. And every single day since Monday, I have seen some sort of animal or a representation of Scorpio energy, but in the form of nature. So Monday, what did we do on Monday? Oh, maybe Monday was the only time I didn't really see an animal, or something. But we did walk by the water, so there's that. But Tuesday, I went to this local state park with my daughter and my dog, and she's so funny. She loves being outside. She gets really upset, like when we have to go to the car or when we go home. Like she wants to be outside all day long and she wants to walk. She guides me essentially. And so this day she was guiding me, and there was this, there's the main trail, and then there's like a few other smaller trails. And there was this one off to the left, and it started out really nice, and then we got deeper in and I was like, oh, I feel like this one is less trafficked. There's not like a lot of people along this trail at times. And so we went deeper in, and I just happened to look down to the left, and there was a snake. And it was like, we made eye contact. We definitely acknowledged each other. I felt like it smiled at me. It was so fast though. And when I acknowledged it, I kind of stood there and I was like, wow, that's a real snake. Because I've seen obviously like little garter snakes, but I haven't really seen any big snakes in years. And so I was like, wow. And so my dog had already passed it. And I was like, I feel like we should probably turn around, because it was on the side of my daughter and she was going to walk right past it. So, I picked her up and we went back to the main trail. But that really sat with me, because I just like, even now I can see the snake eyes and just feel the vibration, what was communicated, which felt just like an acknowledgement. It's just like almost a smile, which was nice. So then the following day, I went back with my partner, my daughter, and my dog, and we went down a different trail, and he pointed out like a cocoon, right? Like a silk cocoon, like it must have been like a moth or a butterfly or something, but it was pretty big actually. But of course that is a symbol of Scorpio, that transformation, metamorphosis. So I was like, wow. And then, so that was yesterday. And then today we went out for our afternoon, like nature time. And I was driving down the road, and this is like a 2-lane country road. And I like saw like a little thing, and there's always like random things on the side of the road, like, wood or something, stuff like that. So I wasn't really sure what that was, or like a big rock or boulder. And I got like, when I was passing it, it was a turtle, and it was alive. It was like, definitely the head was up, and it was like waiting to cross. And I was just like, wow. Or a tortoise is actually what it was. And I was just like, wow, this is really, really cool. And so I'm just like, tomorrow, I'm like, what am I going to see tomorrow? And I'm just really inspired, and I feel really, really connected. And I think that's really important, what's going on right now. And I'm getting chills. So this is definitely ringing true and significant, is that while like so much is coming up, right, as what I spoke to before, we really want to take time to, again, ground ourselves. And by grounding ourselves can look like just going out in nature for a walk, because that's all we've been doing, is going out for our early afternoon walks. And it has just been very grounding, and I just haven't had any pull to connect on social media. So furthermore, I will say that this experience, this week has been very intense in a very like detached way for me personally. Like I've been really feeling different fears about just with my own mental health and anxiety, and just like my old triggers and things of that nature. And usually I'm the person that, you have fight or flight. I'm the person that flights. And that's usually my go-to. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. I hate feeling this, or I will swallow what I want to say. Like I don't speak my truth or just hold it in. And I've been making a very conscious point to like breathe and just walk myself through. I mean, I was reading something last night before bed, and the story was really triggering for me. And there was actually some synchronicities, which what happened to me recently, like in my dreams and stuff. And I was just like, I felt that fear coming in. And one of the things for me personally is that it's hard for me to detach my story from other people's story. So I take on their story at times, or their pain. And it's like, because I feel so strongly and very empathic, that I just don't have any boundaries. I don't separate myself. And so I was in awareness of that. And usually I will close the book and just like shut it out. But I kept reading, and I like braced myself and breathe. And there have been a few other experiences with that as well. And so that is my main guidances with whatever is coming up at this time. Like, if you have the capacity, if you have the groundedness, and you feel okay within your space, because that's another thing too. When you are approaching and overcoming or confronting these fears, these anxieties, depression, shame, guilt, any of these low vibration frequencies, you really want to take care to be in a safe space, or be in a place, where you're very clear, right? And you can approach that. Otherwise, like, wait until you are in that space and then approach it. So it could look like, taking a moment, going outside, breathing some fresh air, then coming back to it, or maybe you come back to it the next day. But the key is to like come back to it and face that, because it's inevitable that if we don't really confront it, those whispers, that gentle nudge is going to be a push or a scream, right? And it's not anything to be like scary or like something negative. It's just more so like, this is the time, like, you are being called and guided to step into a higher vibration of yourself, your divine self. And therefore, we are literally shedding skin with this moon. We are literally, purging a lot of those like heavy emotions. And it's just like, right now I feel it so tense in my core. And I did a core workout, so I'm sure a little bit has to do with that. But I've had some things already come up today where it's just like, I just had to breathe and release. And when I did that, in that moment, and I always check in, I'm like, how am I in this moment? Am I good? Like, whatever I'm fearing, is that, actually this moment? Like, is it true, right? Or is that something I'm projecting onto the future? Or am I like worried about something in the past? And so that's really my point of advice with this moon. Now, I feel, there's so much. We have Jupiter in Aries, and I briefly talked about this, but Jupiter in Aries is like, let's get it done. And Mars rules Aries, right? Mars also rules Scorpio. And so Mars it's like, there's a lot of focus on Mars energy right now, and Mars is in Pisces. So again, it's really important to, one, have compassion for yourself and know that this is a very hard time for everyone and for humanity and the planet as a whole. And we just really have to take care to have compassion for ourselves and to just flow. Do not force, right? Just go with the flow. Who cares about a bill? Who cares about a boss? Who cares about, obviously you have other things that you have to take care of, such as like maybe a child or a fur baby, and yourself, obviously. But if it's not anything like pressing like that, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm running late to this thing. It's like, who cares, right? And so I am, of course, me being me, I have to say that obviously I'm sensitive to everyone's concerns and everyone's emotions. However, I do feel it's like, again, with Jupiter and Aries, we got to stop making excuses and we got to just get it done. And we have to do that with grace. And it might just even look like, not doing much. Like for me, my just getting it done and going with the flow is like not being on social media and going outside, spending all day with my daughter and not like uploading stories or whatever the case may be. I've even been going to bed early at night, which is like really annoying because that's my private time when I do work and, pull cards and stuff. But lately I've just been like receiving and like channeling energy through and moving it through and, doing the readings and meetings that I have already scheduled. And so I'm like, I'm doing what I have already committed to, and I'm going to just flow with the rest of my day. And so that's what it may look like for you. So, I know there's a lot of talk and interpretations or perspectives of this moon, this full moon lunar eclipse, and it's a super moon and it's almost exact, right? It's almost an exact alignment to the nodes. And so it is very dynamic. It can be very confrontational. But from my experience sitting here, if you open yourself to releasing, to surrendering and going with the flow, then it will be gentle to some sort of degree. Okay, so here's my little one coming in. So yeah, I just want to share that. And with the eclipses, wow. Hello. With the eclipses, there is the vibration of alignment, right? That's how eclipses happen, when the sun and the moon are in very close alignment to the lunar nodes. And so we get an eclipse. And so while this is intense, while this is a deep shedding, the deeper the intensity, the greater the transformation, the greater the progression. So I just want to leave that here. Thank you everyone for your support. Thank you for your comments and questions and engagement. I really enjoy the engagement. If you are interested in your own private reading, you can book that via the link in my bio, or send me a private message if you want to meet via Zoom. I offer tarot readings and astrology readings, and thank you so much for your donations. And if you ever do want to donate as well, the link is in the bio or in the description of this video. All right, have a good eclipse.